us off. So good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining today's session. Really excited today because we have Alice Yu joining us today. So thank you so much for joining us, Alice.
Hi everybody. Good morning. Thank you, Joe, for the invitation.
Yes, absolutely. So for those of you who are not familiar, Alice is actually the digital engagement lead at Prudential Singapore, and she's going to be talking about all things China marketing, giving some real life examples, some case studies, and things like that. So without further ado, I'd love to hand it over to Alice to take us through today's session.
Cool. Thank you so much, Joe, and thank you everybody for joining us on this very early Thursday morning. So my name is Alice, and I currently work for Prudential Singapore. As you know, it's an insurance company. And this is my 13th year in Singapore. I originally came from China, and that is why, my instinct, still going back to follow the China marketing trends. And I actually find there are a lot of interesting lessons we can borrow from there. So today I would actually want to share a topic I'm not sure if you have heard about. It's called 出圈 in Chinese. So what does 出圈 mean? It means get out of your zone. So this word actually originates from the entertainment industry. So I'm sure maybe a lot of you watch entertainment shows, reality shows. So the word 出圈 goes that, these stars, they are maybe famous in the entertainment industry. However, because of the, some of their performance or some of the shows that they have done, they actually are not only known by their fans, but also created a wider influence outside their own circle, outside his own follower base. And I mean, that's actually another way of going viral. So today I'm gonna share with you 3 interesting findings about how brands in China can actually win the 出圈 marketing game and get out of the zone and bring wider influence to wider audience. So before we start, here's a quick introduction about myself. I'm a mother, and here is my kiddo. He's about 3 years old this year. I'm also a digital marketer by the day, but a community builder in the night. So during daytime, during my when I wear the digital marketer's hat, I occasionally speak at such as the Digital Divas by e-consultancy last year, as well as the Digital Outlook by Click Insight earlier this year, where I shared China marketing insight as well. And I also have my own community. It's called Mama on Palette. So it's a community for mothers who love art like myself. So last year, I was actually engaged by the Smart Nation office under the Prime Minister office to lead the digitalization and promoting technology and digital awareness among young parents in Singapore. So they actually invited me to keep on speaking, how digital is influencing parenting life and how we can leverage some of the very cool apps or digital technologies to help us live at ease. Okay, so just something to, little bit something to be proud of, that last year I actually won the Women in Marketing Global Award alongside with 16 other women leaders. So they are actually living across the globe. It's really an honor. And I was actually the youngest one who has actually won the award, and also the only one candidate from APAC. But I mean, it's also a reminder for me, to keep on learning, keep on growing, so that, I can become a better marketer. Okay, so when we dive into today's scene in China and how the Chinese marketers play around with digital and marketing, I feel that they are actually, maybe they didn't really say it, but I really feel that they have adopted agile marketing very well. So for those of you who are not really familiar with this term, you could Google, or I could simply explain it. It's really in comparison with the traditional way of waterfall, whereby you come up with idea, you give it to your agency, and the agency come back with creatives and writings, and then you push it out, and hoping that your idea can work. So agile marketing is the other way around. We are not it's not to say that we don't believe in big ideas anymore, but it's just that we use small experiments to constantly test the market, to hear from the social, to hear from the public space, and know what is trending, what are the latest passion point of our customers before we actually launch, articles, creative, social media posts. So in a way, it actually offers you a testing bed to constantly interact with your customers, hear what they are hear what they are thinking, and hearing their immediate needs, so that you can constantly adjust and improve your marketing strategies to be relevant, to fit for the purpose. I think that's the whole meaning behind agile marketing. So I'd like to share this very exciting, very interesting example. So this is actually by Corona Beer. I'm sure a lot of you have heard about it because of coronavirus, but it's actually a very famous beer brand as well. So back in 2019, earlier in 2019, actually, the Chinese government actually released a policy for rubbish classification. So as you can see from this picture, they actually set different big boxes for you to classify your rubbish, and they even have what they call the citizen guardians, who are normally mid-aged aunties, to safeguard these boxes. So whenever you want to throw a piece of garbage into the rubbish bin, you need to go through them, and they will ask you, which rubbish are you, right? So it's very hilarious because actually they're very nice people. They just want to save time, and they want you to throw your garbage into the right bin for the right kind of classification. So these things really went viral because a lot of people like us who are working, they are making fun of these aunties, like, oh, they are really like the police who are safeguarding the classification rubbish bins. So what coronavirus has come up, they practice social listening. So actually in the first week when this policy was actually released to the Chinese people, they come up with this very fun social contest to collect user-generated content. So what they do is that they ask people, now, usually we recommend you to drink Corona beer with a piece of lemon, right? However, after you have finished this bottle of beer, you have the lemon still in your glass bottle. And when you go to these ladies, they will ask you to separate these two because the bottle falls under the glass category, while the lemon falls under the fruits and vegetable category. However, imagine you are holding the bottle, you have the lemon inside the bottle. How do you actually separate them to fulfill the purpose of rubbish classification? So they did they did a call out on social media, on TikTok, and the Kuaishou, right? So these are like the famous social media platforms for young generation in China. And the people come back with a lot of interesting experiments. So some of them say like the first picture, you can shake it out, or some say that, oh, you can probably pull it out with a spoon. And some, they even did a very creative collaboration with Lipton tea, whereby you can actually put a lemon, link it to a tag, tea tag, whereby you can use the string to pull out the lemon, right? So this thing really goes viral on the social media. A lot of people are making fun out of it, and coming up with a lot of creative ways of how to separate the lemon with the glass bottle. And subsequently, Corona Beer actually come up with more content, right? So they said, they come up with this infographic, for example, how do you actually slice your lemon, put it into your bottle, enjoy the drink, and then you can actually just turn off the bottle to slice out the lemon very easily. So this line here, it wrote that we separate for a short while is because in the next life, we're still gonna be together. And this is the love letter between the lemon slice as well as the bottle. And it's really fun. And you know, like people, this is entertainment for them, and this is a really good practice of social listening, and make it very agile, make it very small to interact with the market immediately. Another example, this one is BMW, which is the luxury brand, right? Oh, sorry, it's not BMW, it's Cadillac, which is a very luxury car brand. And they have actually come up with a series of brainwashing ads. So there's a period in China that a lot of people are making fun of the brainwashing ads, whereby when you are watching a very touching Korean drama, suddenly in the middle, there comes up with a commercial ad, and there's no content, there's no aesthetics. Basically, it's just repeating of how good their product is. So a lot of the webtizens, they are making fun of these brainwashing ads, right? So Cadillac actually ride onto these trends, and they come up with, I mean, they adopt the similar style of the brainwashing ads, like in the normally seen, and they come back with these pictures and actually also small videos. So it goes like, for the first one, it says, if you don't have a way to practice, you should not call yourself as a boss. And the second picture goes, if you never fall down, you should never call yourself as a parent. And the bottom right, without a scarf, you should not call yourself an auntie, right? So you see all of these advertising lines fall under the same pattern, but in the end, it actually gives you the line. Without the backdrive, you should not call yourself as a luxury car, right? So they are really making fun of what the netizens are making fun of. So they grab the attention, they ride onto the trends, and they lead attention to promote the unique selling point of their new model, which is quite creative. So the point I want to mention here is that customer centricity is really the key. So even at Prudential, we practice social listening very actively to see what is hot on the trend. So it shouldn't be that, you know, the trend is happening only after a month that we are responding. It shouldn't be the case. We should respond very fast to ride onto the trends, because you know people's attention online are actually dropping very fast. Like today there's a hot trend, but tomorrow it could be another one, right? So you need to really act on it fast before you think about a lot of big ideas. How do I make it happen? And until you come up with the execution, the trend actually passes. And the last thing is really you need to connect with your customers. Instead of sitting back in your office and guessing, what does my customers like? Will this idea work for them? You should think of maybe just go onto the street and talk to them. And of course, I think there's more scientific way for you to really study your target audience. So maybe instead of going to your friends, you should really find the target audience whereby you want to promote your brand or promote your product to connect with them, practice social listening, and do up something that really addresses their passion point. So I think there are some also innovative practices in China whereby they also went viral. The first thing, and also is one of my favorite commercial by Alibaba in 2019 again. So this commercial, whereby later you can actually search on YouTube and watch it, it's called What's Peppa? So for those of you who has a kid, or maybe you have a cousin, you would know Peppa Pig, right? It's a pink little piggy who lives with her parents and her little brother George in a happy town with a lot of animal friends. So my kid really loves her. Like he asks watching him every day. And 2019 also happens to be the pig's year in Chinese horoscope. So Alibaba actually comes up with this commercial to ride onto the trend and also play with the culture. Because everybody, in China, we have the tradition, if it's a pig's year, you should have pigs in your home. So whether you put it onto your door, you put it onto your window, or you buy some, push toys in a pig feature, it's a tradition for you to celebrate the year of the animal. right? So they come up with this commercial is really funny. So basically, it starts with the old man living in a little in a small village. It's a really rural village. There's no TV. The only video is like really back in the previous century, right? And then his son and son's family are actually living in the town. So it's actually during the Chinese New Year time. The son's family called his father, say that, do you want to come back to the town to celebrate the Chinese New Year with us? The old man is so happy. He has, oh yeah, sure. And then the old man said, do you think there's any gift I can bring for my grandchildren? And the grandson said, I want Peppa Pig. I want Peppa Pig. So this old man, after putting down his phone, said, what is Peppa? So he actually went on interviewing his his village people. And the people actually offered him a lot of interesting answers, which you can explore further. I won't become a spoiler here in the movie. So the point I want to make here is, first, they really leverage the IP in the intellectual property, the IP, the icon of Peppa Pig, which a lot of Chinese families are familiar with, especially those with children. It also instills the cultural ingredient, whereby it's the year of the pig. So, everything is connected. And most importantly, it addresses the social issue. And I believe it's also the reason why, it went out of its zone to become not only a commercial, but also something that drives a lot of discussions, is that if you realize this old man, he's quite old already, and he's living in a rural village whereby his son's family are living in a modern town, and they have been separated for so long. For only during Chinese New Year, they can meet again. So this is a social issue whereby we call stay-alone parents. Is a common issue in China, whereby the younger generation get out of the village to find a better life in modern cities, but because of the differences in living style and the speed and so on, they actually are separated from their elder generation. So it becomes a social issue discussion as well. And I feel this is how design thinking is really applying to campaign generation. They define the problem, they empathize with the audience, and they find out a way how to design this campaign to make it resonating with a lot of people. I find a lot of brands in China are really innovative with co-branding. So here, real beer, right? This is, I remember this is a cocktail. I never tasted myself. I'm not sure if it's sold in Singapore, but I saw it in China. It sponsors a lot of reality shows. It's really targeting at the younger generation. And it never borings me for, the co-branding effort. So what it did, it actually collaborated with this Hero Inc. So for those of you who never heard about Hero Inc., this is our childhood memory for my generation, my parents' generation, and my grandparents' generation. I'm not sure if it's for the next generation because people nowadays seldomly use pens anymore, right? But when when I was young, when I attended primary school, we all use pen, the water pen, and we need to use this ink. It's like default. So people from my generation are all very familiar with this Hero brand. And what they did is actually they co-branded, imagine a cocktail and ink brand, they co-branded, and they actually put the packaging of real beer, turn it into a Hero ink. So a lot of people are making fun of it, like, are we drinking ink? But it's not right. So it immediately grabs the attention of the generation that we want to target at, because it's something that actually draws back our memory, and I would love to buy it, just for the safekeeping. Another interesting example is the Forbidden Cities Palace Museum. So for those of you who have visited Beijing, Forbidden Cities, Palace Museum is definitely something that should be on your checklist, right? It's so huge. You have so many precious treasures out there for you to take a look and appreciate their beauty. But for long, the museum is just famous for, you know, the culture and all the you know, all the historical things in the museum, but is never known for fashion and beauty. So here is the innovation whereby they actually turned some of the, you know, the drawings, the historical drawings, put their patterns onto lipsticks. And then suddenly you have a range of lipsticks with all these very beautiful historical images on it. And people are loving them. They feel like by buying this lipstick, I can truly associate with the thousands of years of history in China, and just makes us proud, right? And guess what? The tourists are also loving them. Like they feel like if previously when I go to the Palace Museum, I probably just take back a book or a T-shirt or something. But now I have something practical that I can bring back and surprise my friends. So immediately the sales of the cultural products, and lipstick is really only one of them, right? We have a range of the others. So the sales are really going very, very high. And a lot of people are, and every year they come back with a new batch of designs, which are again inspired by the historical storage in the museum. Isn't it very innovative? This one, The Sisters on the Wave, I'm not sure if anyone of you have heard about it, is a reality show that is presented by the Hunan TV in China. So it's very hilarious actually, because this TV station, Hunan TV station, was actually previously very well known for borrowing ideas from Korean reality shows. So it's not really authentic. Authenticity is definitely not in its name. It's always associated with copycat. Okay, but this year it actually come with this show that is truly innovative, and is another successful example of getting out of its zone because it generated a lot of societal discussion. So what does this show do? Basically, it focuses on women issues. You know, in China, there's a stereotype on women who get older than 30 years old and never get married, still single. So there are a bunch of people who have stereotype on this batch of women. They call them as leftover women. Even though they may be very high performing in their job, in their lives, because they never get married or they never had a kid, they are somehow, you know, recognized as a minority, and their parents, their relatives, whenever they gather during Chinese New Year, they always be burdened on these women, right? Who never get married. They try to matchmaking, and they try to encourage these ladies to give birth, which I think is a very strong society issue. I'm not sure if it's happening in Singapore or in other countries. But anyway, this reality show, right, really focuses on women that are older than 30 years old. So what they did is that they invited over 60 female stars. So these stars, they may be famous previously when they are younger, right? But right now, you know, as you know, a lot of young stars, the K-pops are jumping onto the bandwagon. Maybe they are not as famous as previously, but they still very talented. Some are very good at singing, some are very good at dancing, some even form their own band, right? So all these female stars, they put them together and they ask them to form as a group. So that means, I'm not sure if anyone of you have watched the Produce 101, which is a Korean reality show, whereby they recruit a lot of young ladies and they train them, they compete, and in the end, they form a small band, right? So it's the same logic, it's just that they replace the recruitment audience from youngers to women who are elder. So I think the oldest participant in this reality show is around 50 years old. So it's actually generated a lot of discussions around whether or not we should discriminate women when they're getting older. Of course, the answer is no, right? So it's getting a lot of attention. People are finding the beauties of women who are, a little bit elder, and they also are inspired by the spirit of these ladies who may age. However, they are still doing their best to live the beauty of life. So I believe in order to innovate, you need to adopt a mindset to emphasize first. So that means you need to listen to the market and hear what people are talking about, hear from the society what are the common issues. And in China, I think the cultural ingredient is also important for you to associate with a wider audience. And lastly, I'm not saying that if you want to do agile, you should give away your creativity. The creativity is still very important. So after you have gathered enough evidence about what is happening and you have associated it with your culture, with the social issues, you still need to use your creativity to come up with the best execution to be able to ride onto the trend to innovate. So earlier this year, I actually interviewed Mary Jo, who is the CMO of Lazada Group. So she mentioned about this shoppertainment innovation for Lazada app. So Lazada, as you know, is the e-commerce store, right? So basically, she said that they actually innovated to not only providing the shopping experience to their customers, but also they are trying to build a retention loop whereby the customers can also play with the online games, and then the memories they get from the play can also help them stay in this app. They also introduced the first to launch an in-app live streaming and introduce live stream concert, game shows, see now, buy now, fashion shows. So all these things can actually increase people's adrenaline, and then they can be excited and get more brand love to be more associated with Lazada. And I think it's quite innovative. So the last point I want to mention is community. It's not only because I myself am a passionate community builder, but also in order to get out of your zone, you should not only focus on your own community, but also going beyond your own community to focus on a wider group of audience. Starbucks is a good example. So interestingly, last year they have launched this limited version of cat paw cup. It's quite cute, right? But actually when it's firstly launched, it's just like normal Starbucks merchandise, like their bags and push toys. It's not really gaining a lot of traction. But it's because of this short video that you are seeing here. So what happens is that a girl, she went to Starbucks and she bought like a cup of milk, or it's Sakura milk or something, and she put it into the cup so that paw turns into pink. And she shoot this video and put it onto TikTok. Imagine after a few seconds, this video went viral, and a lot of people are asking, how can I get this cute cup? How can I get it? It's so cute. Everybody want to put it on their desk, right? So subsequently, a lot of people go to Starbucks. They call it check-in, and they buy the cup, and then they take a picture with Starbucks. It went viral, and surprisingly, without any promotion or advertising from Starbucks itself. Because of the TikTok community, a lot of people started to pay attention. They feel like they should get this cup, and they are even queuing outside of Starbucks. So see this tent here, people are still like staying overnight just to wait for the store to open to get the first cup. And people are even fighting. It's really not a good practice, right? But you can imagine how popular the cup is just for this glass. Similarly, Haiti, which is now in Singapore, they also plays very well with hunger marketing to go viral. So whenever you go to a Haiti store in China, you will see a long queue there. And I heard some rumor they actually pay people to queue up. Why? Because they want to generate the impression that this tea is so good, you must grab it. see how many people are queuing. And I know like for Singaporeans, we are not unfamiliar with this, right? We love to queue. And whenever you see a queue, you think the product is so good and you just want to join the queue yourself. Another one about community, this is the latest one. This is actually just a video that was released in May, on the 4th of May actually. So this is a 4-minute video. Later we're gonna watch them together. It's basically produced by Bilibili, which is similar to YouTube in in the English word. So Bilibili is a live streaming platform. A lot of young people there, they have millions of users, and they love to just upload their moments. It could be them cooking, it could be them do lip syncing, etc. So it's similar to TikTok. It's just that TikTok focuses more on the music, whereby the latter has a variety of video contents. So on the 4th of May, which is the International Youth Day, they actually get this very famous actor. His name is He Bing, and he gave a talk. So there's no fancy effect. There's no fancy settings. He's basically just standing there and talking to the next generation. So the name of this video is called "Go on the Next Wave." In the Chinese language, next wave also means the next generation. So there's always a famous saying that in the Yangtze River, the next wave is always pushing the front wave. So that means the younger generations are always replacing the senior generations. Of course, it's not the case, but he's positioning it in a way that him, as a senior person with years of experience, are talking to the younger generation, and he's appreciating the positive energy brought by the younger generation, which are mainly, the followers of Bilibili, the users. And, he's encouraging them to make more differences, to continue their lifestyles, to make us a better world. Let's watch it together before I give you more talk. Oops. Just give me a moment. Let me pull it out. Joe, just let me know if you can hear the music, or anybody from the audience.
Yes, I can hear the music.
Yeah, is it working fine?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Okay, let's go.
口口声声，一代不如一代的人，应该看着你们，像我一样。我看着你们，满怀羡慕。人类积攒了几千年的财富，所有的知识、见识、智慧和艺术，像是专门为你们准备的礼物。科技繁荣，文化繁茂，城市繁华。 现代文明的成果被层层打开，可以尽情的享用，自由学习一门语言，学习一门手艺，欣赏一部电影，去遥远的地方旅行。很多人从小你们就在自由探索自己的兴趣，很多人在童年就进入了不惑之年，不惑于自己喜欢什么，不喜欢什么。 人与人之间的壁垒被打破，你们只凭相同的爱好就能结交千万个值得干杯的朋友。你们拥有了我们曾经梦寐以求的权利——选择的权利。你所热爱的，就是你的生活。你们有幸遇见这样的时代，但是时代更有幸
Hey, Alice.
遇见。 这样，你们，我看。
We have about a few minutes left, but perhaps we could share the link with the folks watching a little bit later.
Sounds good. Okay.
Awesome.
Let me just go back to here, right? As you can see, while he's talking, there are a lot of clips that they are showing at the background. So these clips are actually the real clips uploaded by Bilibili users. So this is a really good example of utilizing UGCs. So they just crawl millions of uploaded clips by the audience, and then they put them together. They have the voiceover, very impressive, and it's the best leverage of the community to go viral. And because this concerns next generation, it actually also generate a lot of discussions in the society. So the conclusion I have here when it comes to community is that although you have a wider audience, but nowadays generation, everybody wants to be noticed. So personalization is still very important. And to be able to make personalization very well, you also need to develop an omni-channel experience. So here, example on the right-hand side, what you are seeing is an annual data report of each user from WeChat and Alipay. So at the end of every year, they create this function that allows you to download your personalized spending or personalized WeChat usage report. So you can see, oh, I have added how many new friends this year, which is for WeChat, and how many times I shared a WeChat moment, how many times I liked a friend's WeChat moment. It's truly personalized for you. And for Alipay, they will give you a summary with very interesting graphics about how much you have spent, which categories you are focusing on. It even gives you a personalized analyze like, oh, what kind of person are you? So this is a leverage of data to manage a personalization experience for each unique user. Okay, so that's actually the end of my sharing today. I know we're running out of time, so if you have any questions, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'm happy to discuss with you further. And back to Joe.
Thank you so much, Alice, and thank you so much for joining everyone for joining us today. It brought up a lot of good memories for me in my time in China. So thank you so much. Like I said, if any questions, please feel free to connect with Alice. You'll learn a lot. Follow her on LinkedIn. If you're on TikTok, connect with her there. So thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everybody.